What is going on? Welcome in on this wonderful Monday. Hannah Claire will be right back. Don't get too excited there, Luke. Her audio was glitching out a little bit.
Where's our favorite secret chat or private chat wild lady person?
How will I know what the Jews are up to if Hannah Claire's not here?
Exactly. How will I know what the Waffen FS online brigade's doing?
What is it?
H? I don't want the great H. I think is
the big H. Yeah, Hannah Claire actually stands for.
No, it's just H. It's just H. Nothing else.
Where's the big H? Yeah, the big H is not here. She'll be here in just a few moments. How was your weekend? Are you ready for spooky season, Luke?
Well, yeah. I'm getting my costume ready. I got the ladybug there.
I saw that. I love it.
Yeah. I did a very fun rifle training this Saturday. That was very intensive, very difficult. So the instructor makes you turn around, and then we were doing rifle shooting
and then
training.
Bend over,
Listen. You leave your little dirty-minded.
All right. Okay.
Out of my self-defense, self-preservation type of training techniques. Okay.
Okay. I will. Yeah.
I know you. No talk about long barrels. Okay, we're not getting into that.
Right. Shafts and polishes and I get it.
Hey,
millimeters.
Stop it. So we did a drill where the instructor made you turn around, and then he took your rifle, and then he put it down in a particular location, and then some of them he put malfunctions in, some of them he put the magazine separate. And then you had to turn around. There was a threat. You had a simulated hallway. And it's okay, get your ish together and get shots downrange. 6 shots from this position, 6 shots from that position. He just made it very difficult for me. He messed with my magazine. He put the bullets upside down in my magazine. He put one.
Oh, that's a tough one because you got to freaking dig in there, Yeah.
He put the great H.
Big H is here. Shout out.
Oh, hey, how are you guys?
And then he put.
I think she's denying the big H, Luke.
I don't know. Big H is, a big H. So
yeah,
I believe you guys are semi-illiterate. In the big H. It's hard for you guys to do multiple letters, so I don't want to make you feel bad.
No,
we got to keep it simple. Come on, we're dyslexic and autistic. Be nice to us.
Simple men, and I appreciate that about both of you.
Don't be a grammar Nazi.
Yeah.
Oh, you're throwing around the term Nazi. Wow.
Are you going to put us in a correction camp? Are you going to correct our behavior in a camp too?
Making a Murderer. Do you remember that Netflix documentary that came out a long time ago?
Yes.
And they're constantly talking about how the nephew who got accused was or convicted ultimately.
Oh, they got her. She was just
talking about the final solution for us, both of us.
All I hear is something about cleansing, and then it got cut off. I'm not sure. Oh, wait,
I'm just saying, you guys are slow learners, like good old Brendan What's-His-Face for Making a Murderer.
You know what's wild? Okay, what do you think? I believe that both men participated in the crime and should have been convicted.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
There was a viral documentary about these two, Brendan Dassey and then his uncle, I think, basically kidnapped and sexually assaulted an auto trader girl that came to look at photographs. Yeah, take photographs to sell a car. And it was basically an open and shut case, but Netflix spun it to be yes, there were problems with the police in Sheboygan County, and in that area.
So many problems. It was really bad.
Is that a real county, Sheboygan?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
The craziest thing, it's 20 minutes north of where I live, Luke. The craziest one I thought was that there was a needle hole in the blood sample.
Mm-hmm.
That one I was I thought basically they did it, but then the cops were also dirty. I think both cases were true. There was no evidence anyone else did it. There was evidence that came out later that linked like the uncle. The uncle had been arrested for doing something like this before, like
Well, he was
stalking a girl.
arrested for attacking and like sexually assaulting a
jogger.
woman,
Yeah.
but then he was completely exonerated because the DNA ultimately matched someone else. So then there's this
Right.
question of like, you'll hear the judge or the cops be like, well, we knew what Stephen Avery was like. And it's like, but you're referencing a crime that he was literally exonerated from. Like, you have
Yeah.
this in your mind, but actually, undeniably, it was proven to not be the case. And he served 18 years in prison for it.
Right. And then he got out and immediately killed and raped a woman.
Which seems kind of crazy. The argument
Yeah.
from Netflix is that he was suing the state for compensation for the 18 years that he was in prison.
And that's why yeah.
Right at that time is when he got accused of murder.
But I mean, the woman was dead. Her car was there. Like it's not like the physical evidence was overwhelming. They burned her body. They found bone fragments. It was.
I don't know, team. It seems sketchy.
You think that the Star Trek Enterprise teleported her vehicle into their lot? Or you think the cops put it there?
I just think that he has other nephews or other people in the family.
Oh, here we go. This was a slam dunk. I had a lot of problems. Like, basically, the kid was retarded.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's what I was saying before. Like, you guys,
you watch the tape.
Learner.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, we're not denying the big H like you, but they basically watch a video of his interrogation. They basically just bullied him into admitting he did it.
Yeah, it's like a guessing game.
Yeah, it was
he
really
his mom
weird.
On the phone, like she's like, how did you say those things? He's like, well, I guess that's what I do with my homework.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think he was involved, but he was also not really competent to like. And they also interrogated him without a parent present, which I thought was also
16.
Yeah. So they probably should have gotten off, is what I would say. But
she said,
but I do believe they did do it. Like
classic Wisconsin, anti the Averys.
Yeah, I am. Wait, no, it wasn't Brendan Dassey then, right? Or was his name Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery?
I think it's Brendan Dassey. Stephen Avery is the uncle, and then Brendan Dassey, I think, is the last name.
Yeah, I think like the tarded one knew something was going on, but was probably just too dumb to know what was going on. Maybe his favorite uncle asked him to move a body or something, but I don't think if he did participate in that crime, he was literally too stupid to know what he was doing. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say stupid. Like, he had an actual learning disability. He was actually retarded. Like,
his IQ came up. He was in like special classes in school. It was a component. And also, like,
go
ahead.
Where can I watch this, and should I watch this?
It's on Netflix. It's very interesting. I would say give it a watch. But I will say that just because there are legitimate investigatorial malpractice where you're like, oh shit, they clearly like I said, he really should not have been convicted. But I do believe he did it. Like,
well, and
go ahead.
I think just generally like law enforcement in a small town, like, yeah, of course, it being like I'm framed seems kind of crazy. On the other hand, it was interesting to hear how someone's reputation being so severely damaged by being wrongfully convicted, even though it was public, like well documented,
the cops were biased against them. The cops are biased.
And the other part was, so it has a part 2. So the first one came out in like what, 2013 14, like almost a decade ago.
The part 2 is more interesting, I think.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm not finished with it, but it is it's interesting because they acknowledge that basically like the governor of the state, Scott Walker at the time, I don't know if you remember when he ran for president.
I do. Yeah.
But he was like, Netflix is saying this is a documentary, but it's totally biased. It's totally one-sided. And I don't know. I find this interesting because it all plays into whether our justice system is working. He's going to ditch us for a phone call. Hello. Anyways, I don't know if you like documentaries, Luke. Sometimes they're a little bit of an acquired taste. And it is long. I think they're like 10 parts or 10 episodes in the first part. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find some of them to be very gripping. I'm not really into the true crime stuff. I don't really like to surround myself with so much negative juju. But I feel like Netflix definitely has cornered the market on a lot of these type of real life events. Like some of them are fascinating when they're like white collar crimes, because then you kind of see the kind of like
might appeal to you because it's not like oh, we're catching a serial killer, like let's talk about the physical evidence as much. It really does talk a lot about the procedures and the balance of law enforcement and like the government, which might appeal to you.
Yeah, I don't really have that much of a kind of acquired taste for all the like murder, like crime. It's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, the sociopathic, crazy people out there. I'm more fascinated in the kind of people who game the system, rig the system, or hack the system. Like that woman. I forgot, was Anna Delvey, I think was her name.
Yeah, the fake German heiress.
Yeah, I'm shocked. And then there was another one that did the fake blood test scandal that lied to everyone and cheated everyone, that I think Henry Kissinger like was working with and endorsed, and I can't believe that wasn't in there.
What's
but
her name?
I like watching
she's
that
in prison
type of
with
stuff.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Who was?
The girl who ran the it was supposed to be like the least invasive blood testing.
Yes.
Silicon Valley. She's in. You know that she's in prison with Ghislaine. They're hanging out, petting puppies together.
Yeah, there is this the Club Fed one in Texas, or this is the?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a weird one. There's also like talks about the staff there being given gag orders not to talk to the press or the media about anything that kind of happened here. But anyway, I played with I got chickens. I got chickens over the weekend.
No way. How many?
And I did very fun rifle training, which was very intense and very difficult. That's what I did. What did you do? 2.
Oh.
You got to start out small. I invested way too much money into them already.
I feel like it's like high startup costs. You have to get the coop and the food and stuff like that.
The coop, the food, and now because I got one of those solar doors that opens up whenever the sun hits, and when there's no sun, the door closes.
Nice. That's very.
And then I was like, I might as well get the one with the video camera for $50 more, because why not? If I ever have to travel or go somewhere, and I got the big feeders, because then I don't have to feed them that much. I'm still waking up every morning and going to tend to the chickens. I clean out their water every morning.
You're in your farm boy era. I love it.
But yeah, I don't have that much property, but I got a little bit of property. So I'm like, I might as well. I just set up the net, and then Atlas, for some reason, didn't see the net because the enclosure of how the chicken. Originally, I used this kind of like, I had this like little metal climbing child. I don't even know how to describe it, but I put netting around it. I was keeping the chickens in there. I'm like, no, the chickens need to run around. So I gave them a big portion of the backyard, and I netted it off. And then Atlas just ran straight into the net this morning and just took it down. I'm like, come on, Atlas. Like, how did you not see that net? She's just like kamikaze straight into it.
She's and I'm just like, come on. This is my land. I'm allowed to go wherever I want.
Yeah. She's fine with chickens. I trained her to be okay with chickens, even though they're like perfect for German shepherds to try to destroy and kill. But yeah, I spent the weekend upgrading the chicken coop, doing the solar panel, chicken coop, door, and making sure that they have enough land, making sure the land was safe. And then now the chickens are still running around there, and I'm checking in on them every few minutes or so just to make sure the chickens are.
Are you going to name them?
Eventually. I still haven't thought of anything creative. My other friend wants to name
pun names. Do you want to name it after someone you love? Atlas is like a pretty strong name, but she's a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
You need a cutesier name for your chickens.
Yeah. Something like Cluckster. I don't know. My other friend wants to name one of them like Brownie and the other one Lemon Cake, and I'm like, I don't like that. That's very feminine. No, I don't like those names at all.
For you, I get you.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. You got to have some kind of reference towards some kind of obscure conspiracy or some kind of like, or just some kind of way to like crap on some kind of politicians in a way. If you guys have any interesting chicken names, or if you want to, if some people are saying shut the cluck up, John Cochran, that's a good one. Cluck Norris, that's a good one.
Because that's the question. Do you make like a chicken related pun, or do you have like thematic? I know someone who has like rosemary, pepper, and I can't remember what the last one's name is, but like they're all spice themed.
I want to do something ridiculous. That think Cluck Schumer could be one of them.
Oh my God.
I like that one. Cluck Liddell. Okay, now we're talking. People are saying Tim Cluck Pool. I don't know if that's going to work. Then Cluckshaw. I'm reading the comments right now. Butt Nugget Factory. I mean, that's an interesting. JB
That would be
Clucker.
like the name of your like coop, though, right?
Pablo Escobar. Okay.
That's funny. I love that one.
Ladybug Eliminator. Cocky Balboa. I kind of like Cocky Balboa. Anyway, RFK Cluster. Clucker. Go cluck yourself. Big Booty Clucker. Dr. Pecker. Dr. Pecker sounds pretty cool. I like Dr. Pecker. A.O. Clucker. Okay. All right. Bernice. Mollard Luther King. Cluck Off. Donald Cluck Trump. Cluck Schumer. Hannah B. Cluck. That could be one.
No, thank you.
I'm gonna keep going through these. But what about you?
What did I do this weekend? My baby met a horse for the first time this weekend. She loved it. She was thrilled by the animals. It was really cute. I thought she might be kind of freaked out because the horse, is much larger than her, but she kept trying to reach out to touch its face, and the horse was extremely docile and let her, which was super cute.
People in the chat room are saying I should name the chicken Hannah Cluck B.
No, thank you.
I have two chickens, Jeremy. I got two chickens.
We're naming them.
Once you name them, it's harder to eat them. I'm just telling you that.
Are you gonna eat them, or are they just for eggs?
I like the chickens. I wouldn't ever. I don't want any harm done to them ever.
But you're gonna steal their eggs.
What do you mean steal their eggs?
They can't raise all those
there
kids,
for the bounty of them getting shelter and food and water from me.
Okay.
So
do you sing them a little song? Make an egg roll from your egg hole. That's what you sing.
I
to
never
them.
heard that. You're more of the farmer inclined person than I am.
True.
So I'll leave that to you when you come over.
Okay.
And we could shoot a little video of you singing to my chickens.
Yeah, by the way, make sure you save their shells and stuff. They make great like you put them on back underneath their coop. You save all your eggshells and like they'll eat them too. Like it has good nutrients.
Calcium or something, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking the chicken poop and I'm putting in my rose garden. So I'm putting it in the roses.
Good.
So I take chicken poop and rose. I haven't looked that up, but I'm like, okay, maybe all the chicken poop will help the roses. Maybe, I don't know. That's what I'm doing now.
The other crazy thing about growing your eggs at home is if you leave the membrane on the egg. Most people don't know about the membranes on the eggs. You don't have to put it. You can leave them on your counter for like a month. And
you can leave them for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was one of the things we were looking at doing a coop, and then I was like, well, we shouldn't spend the money right now. But when we were looking into it, I was like, well, how many chickens to get? And I'm like, well, we need like 3. And then the guy I was talking to, he was like, no, dude, the eggs, they'll last like 6 weeks. And you just put them like in your basement. You store them down here. You don't have to even put them in your fridge. I'm like, oh, all right, well, then we can have more eggs, Hillary Cluckton.
I have a small little chicken operation. I only have 2 chickens, so it's nothing too grand of an operation.
Chicken poop is too strong and will burn the roses. All right, fun fact. There you go.
But the shells are okay? Or are you putting
the shells are for the chickens to eat. The chickens eat the shells.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just put it back underneath their if your eggs don't have chicken shit on them, you have dirty ass eggs. Wait, what? Anyway, sorry about that. I had some contractors here doing some fall stuff, and of course
they're building you a pumpkin patch at your house for your wife?
No, we did carve pumpkins last night though.
Stop.
And
where are the pictures? I don't understand.
They mine, I tried this new type of like it's like a metal like thing you pound into the pumpkin and then you pull it out and then it like it's I don't know what you would
cutter but for
like
pumpkins.
Yes, exactly. It was horrible. So mine turned out terrible. My wife did something cute though.
They make those like you take the piece of paper out and you like poke all the holes and you can carve it. Those never work for me.
That's what she uses. And well, I'll post it right now. I'll post it on the twatters. And people will have to guess which one I already said it's the one that turned out like shit. But don't come back in here barking. Go bark out there. She did. Here, this little guy. Gotta make sure. Get out of here.
I like that he's like, why are you not freaking out? Someone's here.
Yeah, right. This there. I'll post it there so I can show you guys. She did like she's pretty good at it. We have 2 more to carve. I don't really like carving them. I just like going to the pumpkin patch because she seems to like going to the pumpkin patch.
Aww.
It's not really my thing. Wait. Did it not post? There it goes. All right. So she did this. Oh, I'm not even sharing it. Hello. All right. Let's probably get on with the show probably too, huh? Let's see here.
Oh, we're just doing a very fall update. Luke's got some agriculture.
She did this one.
Ooh, that's cool.
I did that one. And
you needed a stamp for that?
You see, I know that like it is not good, but I was like stuck in the middle of Huck, chill, Bill. I was stuck in the middle. Like once I started using them, I was like, well, I'll just finish using them. And if I don't like it, I'll just make, mine always look like
patch, do it again.
Well, yeah, I tried to like just freehand, like carve a little bit more. I'm not good at it, but I did pay for them all.
Aww,
so there's that. Yeah. So there's that. Are you guys ready for the snap riots of 2025? This story is kind of two-pronged because there's a conversation about why in the fuck there are 42 million people getting taxpayer funded Mountain Dew. That's one aspect of it. Big Snap got me. I want to be like careful because I feel like last time we talked about Snap, people were getting really offended and whatever. But like, look, here's what I'll say about 42 million people getting Snap. Like, certainly a good percentage, a fair percentage of them are people who actually need it. When I'm talking about the problem, I'm not talking about people who are, physically or, they're disabled or they're a veteran or they're elderly. I don't give a shit about those people getting SNAP, okay? So just so we're all clear. But out of 42 million, how many of those are illegal aliens? How many of those are people that are just taking advantage of the system? Knowing how bad the government is with kind of managing stuff like this, I would not be surprised if it's just 10 to 15 million. Like even having 30 million people on food stamps is embarrassing for this country. If the real number, that's 10% of the population. So what do you think? Like, how did this problem, is it a problem of like, it's too easy to get, or do you think we legitimately have 42 million American citizens who need food stamps? Because one of them is dire.
Yeah. Well, there's a very easy way to cheat the system, and that is just work cash jobs, which a lot of illegal immigrants usually work. And I think it is also fair to assume through some of the data, even though some of it is not correlated, a vast majority of the recipients are usually kind of foreign born or dealing with,
a lot of them are elderly too. I was like, there's a lot of elderly. And then the number of people that are like disabled is let's say it's like 1 million, that would, maybe 1 or 2 million, maybe elderly is 8-10 million. But where does 42 million come from? How are we this bad? Like,
no, that's a huge number. That number is astonishing. That number should scare the crap out of everybody, because it's like this many people are dependent on direct government aid and assistance. Like this amount of people can't live without the government helping them. Now, of course, there's some people cheating the system. Yeah. There's some people that need it. How many? I don't know. But as far as like
take a guess. What do you think the real number is of like people who probably like who are elderly or disabled or in between jobs? Because that probably fluctuates, right?
Yeah. Now,
I don't know how I would accurately guess that. Part of the issue is like if you're between jobs for 3 months, but then you get a job, someone else loses a job. It's like there's a certain amount of ebb and flow that I would expect. I think you're both right. The biggest thing is like, why are so many of these people at least eligible or appearing to be eligible? Is the system broken, or are we really that out of control as a country that this is the cost of living is so prohibitively you need the federal government to fund you? I think the challenge with talking about SNAP is like when you see the rage baity videos or maybe the reel of people being like, I'm going to leave with a grocery cart full of, stuff. I'm not going to pay for it. It makes people who work really hard but do not qualify for SNAP or for whatever reason wouldn't take SNAP feel as though they are paying to basically be abused by their neighbors. It's different when you're thinking about someone's like elderly grandmother who, lives on a very fixed income and needs the support or something like that. Again, I always feel like I'm going back to the ultimately your politicians are holding you hostage. So why are we not more angry with, I don't care if you're angry with the Republicans, but also definitely the Democrats. Why are we not saying like, you must stop, this is getting crazy? Because it's not just SNAP, it's also all of the open enrollment period for healthcare. That's about to skyrocket also on November 1st. So you're going to get a lot of widespread panic from people maybe who are both dependent on the government for federal health insurance and for SNAP, but also people who use the marketplace for their form of insurance.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think the focus should be on charities, soup kitchens, food drives, churches to help fill in the void here, because it looks like this government shutdown is going to be lasting. I mean, the people I'm talking to in D.C., they're saying it's going to last at least another month to 2 monts minimum.
Right? I love it.
Could last.
Huh? I love it. I hope it goes on for 6 months. I do have genuine concern. Luke, I wanted to ask you, there's one side of this, of the food stamps where it's like, there's this perception of there's a non-zero percentage of people who are on SNAP and shouldn't be. I think everyone can at least agree on that. And there's also probably a non-zero percentage of illegals that are on SNAP. There's a non-zero percentage of people who are fraudulently collecting SNAP, maybe from their parents who died or what, you know what I mean? Like SNAP, we saw what Doge did in 3 weeks. I think it's fair to assume that at least 50% of SNAP is fraud, waste, or abuse. Now,
well, I
Luke,
sent you. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I want to make this point quick, and then I'll pull that up. This is also taxpayer-funded government subsidies to big food corporations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like people forget about that. Like Walmart represents 25% of 25 cents of every SNAP dollar that gets spent at Walmart.
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, and like I forget what the number, but we're talking about $8 billion gets pumped into the food industry, big food. Like, don't you think maybe if they stop getting this free government handout, and I'm talking about the corporations, maybe they would lower prices and more people might be able to afford their goods and services?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's like an expose. I remember a year ago, someone was talking about how the system is kind of benefiting a lot of these big companies that make sure that the wages are just enough so people qualify for benefits.
Double dip.
So they're able to double dip. Now, some people are questioning this graph that I posted, because people are saying, how could you be Iraqi and not Arab too? So some people are saying this data is not true. The source of it is down in the right-hand bottom corner. Some people are saying Italians are white. Some people are saying Italian aren't whites. Some people are saying it's true or not true.
Grok says it's true.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's some questions regarding it.
Yeah, it seems unlikely that we would have 20 million Afghans on food stamps.
No, this is the percentage of U.S. households. So out of all the Afghanis, that's the percentage of Afghanis that are.
Oh, okay. I believe that because we took in all the refugees.
Exactly,
yeah,
and a lot
of them are
from poorer countries, and a lot of the people from poorer countries usually work cash jobs, right?
Iraqi
Some of them
too
are working under the table, and there was one guy talking about how a lot of these illegal construction workers get like $80,000 to $100,000 a year without needing to pay taxes.
Well, there's that guy on Caleb Hammer. I don't know if you were on that day. Illegal couple. Guy made $60,000 a year driving a forklift, $30 an hour, $31 an hour, which is like, yeah, Americans definitely won't work for $31 an hour.
Like forklifts, don't be crazy.
He was an illegal, and he was also $400,000 in debt because he would just he took out HELOCs. And by the way, how do you even get a fucking loan if you're an illegal? But like, again, like, shout out my white people. Only 8.6% of whites are on welfare, while 25% of blacks are. Luke's right. Like, this reads like a list of countries we've destabilized with war, though. Like,
yeah.
Afghan, yes. Somalia, yes. Iraq, yes. So like, most of these are probably refugees that we took in after blowing up their countries.
Which also means that we like brought them to our country and we're like, let us introduce you to the welfare state. Please get on board.
Yeah.
Like, seems like a broken system for everybody.
Yeah. I think there definitely needs to be a real conversation about this, because the fact that, a lot of people complaining about this are also morbidly obese is highlighting how the system's broken, and we're subsidizing a lot of bad decisions that are leading also down the line to some very serious healthcare costs. As I think there really needs to be a big conversation about subsidizing Mountain Dew and Cheetos, hot Cheetos. Like, I don't want my tax dollars going to big seed oil.
It should go for fucking rice, powdered milk, and like, you should only look
vegetables and meats.
Yeah, even meat. Simple. Yeah, like
fruits, vegetable meats, like non-processed, non-GMO, crazy sugar nonsense, like, or seed oil nonsense.
Yeah, and if nothing else, then you're subsidizing the American farmer and stuff like that, as opposed to General Mills and like all this kind of crap. I think that. I'm very careful, because like, I had a lot of people, several people in my viewership who were on food stamps, who emailed me and was like, dude, you're kind of being a dick about this. And like, I understand their perspective, but also I think people are really sensitive about it. And you should be. Like, there should be some stigma to it. Again, if you're in between jobs, I don't care. I'm glad, like, that's fine. If you're elderly, that's fine. If you're disabled, that's fine. But, Matt Walsh saying EBD should be abolished. All right. 95% of the people in the program could easily feed themselves. That's probably high. I would say 80% of people certainly could.
Well, other people on the left are saying that 79% of SNAP households are ones including children, elderly, or disabled individuals.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Illegal aliens have a lot of kids. My whole thing is like, get the illegals out, get the fraud out, and then let's see what we're working with.
Yeah.
If that number is still 35 million, we have a huge problem in this country. And
I know I'm a broken record, but I said, we've said this before. If you are someone who, you're having hard times, you have some legitimate disability, and you need the support, like I would like to live in a society where we want to offer help to our friends and neighbors in need. But it's different when you are like now being lumped in with a lot of people that are exploiting a broken system. And I have a lot of empathy for you, right? Like, that doesn't necessarily apply to you. I mean, Matt's talking about how, charities could step in here. And I was listening to some NPR report talking about
other people could.
Right. Well, this
Your
NPR
kids.
report was talking about how food banks were supposed to be like, I think it was like a 1-to-9 ratio. For every 9 meals you get from SNAP, you get 1 from the food bank, which if we stop, I mean, this is a simplistic overview, so forgive me, any economists listening, but like, if you weren't taxed as intensely, if you were able to donate, I don't know, to your church's food bank or to, your neighbors, or do something else, help feed a family member, then they wouldn't have to go through the federal government to get the assistance. It could be in your community. That, to me, seems better. It seems like it would be faster and more responsive. My
uncle worked at a grocery store his entire life. When he retired, he began working at the food bank. I won't say where, but, it's around where I live. He told me that they have food to the fucking stacked to the ceiling. People don't even go to the food bank. They don't go to the food bank year round. I said, is there anything I can, like, it'd be cool to help in my community. Can I like give you like $1,000 in groceries or whatever? He's like, we don't need anything. We're stacked to the ceiling. And I'm like, people. And so like, he said, people go and they get their government check and they don't want to go to the food bank because they don't get Doritos and hot Takis. They get, grocery stores will donate like fruit. Like around Thanksgiving, it gets big. People will go because they get a free turkey, but like for the most part, he's like, we never run low. We're never low on, because I was like, what's going on with the food banks? He's like, we're fine. Totally stocked. And I'm like, and a lot of this too is like that government, like that photo where it was like 500 cars lined up. I feel like that's, the more I thought about that, I was like, this is probably just a bunch of Democrat lawmakers that lined up, and like for a photo op, because I've never seen a food bank packed. I've never ever seen it. Like maybe in the big city, it's probably true.
Mhm.
But someone in the comments like, my mom's disabled. She's 78. She'll die without food benefits. It's your mom, brother. Why aren't you helping your mom?
Mhm.
Why do I have to help your mom? You should help your mom.
Right.
Like a lot of this shit, and they got ratioed probably with a lot of responses like that. My mom would die without food benefits. You can't give your mom $50 in groceries a week? Maybe you should.
Think about what you're commenting on with our culture. Like, again, maybe we do need some kind of safety net so someone who doesn't have family or whatever can receive support. But generally, I like the idea that we would be encouraging people to help their families or their neighborhoods. Like, instead of always turning to the federal government for everything, I think in some ways we're hamstringing our ability to build culture by having people work together to solve crisis in their own communities.
Brother, what the fuck is going on in Alaska? Like 2/3 of Alaska are on food stamps.
But that makes sense to me because it's like a very rural state. So there's not a ton of jobs. Food in Alaska, from what I know, is fairly expensive because
very
it's hard to
expensive,
ship things around. And it's
Okay.
They
pretty
can't really grow it.
Yeah, that's true too. Everything they get is expensive. That's why you look at Hawaii, which is also very high. It's it's very expensive. But look at all of Oregon and Washington. Look at this state, this entire state, 50%. I'm sorry, between 19 and 58%, the highest possible rate. The entire fucking state, 20% of the entire state's on food stamps. Fucking no. Enough.
Like, and of
that's
course,
crazy.
The diabetes South.
Diabetic
also,
South, yeah.
Very, very red. And listen, a lot of these people are making some very poor decisions and poor choices. And if there's going to be
look at the Midwest, baby. Yeah, we feed ourselves out here.
Okay,
you're a little bit next to those red dots over there, though.
No, I'm not. I'm in
Right
the dark green. I'm in the lowest possible percentage. There's Washington County.
Yeah,
let's take a look at Miami, Luke. What am I gonna find?
You're
yellow.
Yeah.
We're
yellow. We're okay.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Cubans coming off the boat here, and the Cubans know how to work, and they
but
love.
They shouldn't get food stamps.
I don't think that's.
And they love capitalism.
They do love capitalism. I'll take endless supply of Cubans. Fine by me. And they vote Republican.
I don't. I mean, we could have like a limited amount. Again, let's have a net zero moratorium here.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. It's just.
But like, look at the Rust Belt. The Rust Belt destroyed. It's a high poverty area where there's no industry moving in. So like, there are places that you want to have sympathy for.
Yeah, this is really bad here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But this
West
is a multi-pronged solution. Giving West Virginians endless amounts of SNAP benefits doesn't solve the core issue, which is that they need industry and jobs. Like,
you're
SNAP
right.
is supposed to be short term. From what I understand, it's not supposed to be like you've signed up for SNAP at 18 and you get it until you're 99. It's to help you during hard times. The problem with Appalachia is that there's no industry going in. So the idea that you would like be on it until you got a better job is not there.
That's a fair
point. Look at New Mexico. New Mexico, too. The biggest place for government employees ever in the United States is just deep red.
Deep red, yeah. The other interesting thing, and like that's a fair point, Hannah Claire, like if there's no industry that comes back to this Rust Belt area, they will never get off SNAP because they literally cannot just quote unquote get a job.
Mm-hmm.
They have to move. Probably. And if you already don't have money, I don't know if anyone's ever moved. I think everyone on this panel has moved intrastate in their life. Just moving's expensive.
So expensive.
And like, you got to find a place. You got to pay, usually if you're living paycheck to paycheck, the whole process is a clusterfuck because you got to pay first month's rent and security deposit at the new place while you're still paying rent in the old place. You're counting on your security deposit. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very real. Every year I moved, I was like, shit, I can't move into this new place because I don't have first month's rent and security deposit. Some places you need 2 months, the 2 months first and last and security deposit. That's 3 months rent up front that you have to pay them. It's like
that's before you have to decide if you're going to try and sell all your stuff and get
Right.
new stuff or ship it, which is crazy expensive, or drive it. Like, there's all kinds of costs associated with it. But again, like, if the goal is to get people off Snap, then we should be talking about bringing industry back to these areas, right? Instead, it's like they're being held hostage. They are dependent on Snap, which again, like, I can have sympathy for that. On the other hand, I don't think the solution is to just make Snap bigger or to continue to fund a broken system.
Well, God, what was this? I forget if maybe someone in chat remembers a name. There was a documentary about opioid addiction in like Ohio. I think it was Ohio, and it was like following like 3 or 4 different people. And it really opened my eyes to like, that's why I'm so hardcore about people understanding that, a football stadium full of people die every year due to opioids, and that number is growing. And opioids, people think heroin, they think, oh, you're like a gutter person, you shoot heroin. It is like upper middle class
It's
white
everywhere.
people are getting hooked on this shit in this Rust Belt area. And they followed like this beautiful girl, and she was like and she was just like going into some fucking drug tent and fucking some drug dealer to get pills. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, hot chicks there's a reason that there are very few homeless women. It's because they possess an innate ability to be kept around by men. They always have something
regardless
to offer.
of their mental status or
Yes.
what they do.
Yeah. I wish there was, if somebody finds the name of it, I watched it. It wasn't Wonderful Whites. No, it was so heartbreaking to watch. I'm like, they're like, she's a high school cheerleader. She was at like Ohio State.
Everything going for her, all kinds of stuff.
And she's fucking some AIDS riddled, degen who's living in a tent to get, some pills. Eventually they all end up going to heroin because it's cheaper, and that's usually where they overdose, or fentanyl nowadays. But like that, you don't have a job, you don't have a future. What's next? Drugs. It is such a predictable pipeline. And a lot of these people, also will use their government benefits to pay for drugs and things like that, like sell their EBT for 50 cents on the dollar, use that money to go buy drugs because they don't even really need EBT.
Or they just want the drugs more, I would assume.
Right. It's fucked. And but there's also this, like, I think I tweeted about this, and somebody in the replies was like, well, you just want 40 million people to starve? No, I want to find out the real number of people that actually fucking need it. Because if it goes away for a month, I'm pretty sure like 40 million people aren't going to die. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not like, when I was young, you worked 2 jobs. When I didn't have enough money to put food on the table and still pay my student loans and stuff, I worked 2 jobs. Now you might say, but Jeremy, you didn't have kids. You're right, I didn't. You're right, I didn't.
I blame the US,
because I couldn't afford it.
Federal Reserve banking system and quantitative easing, and them printing money out of thin air and devaluing the purchasing power of the dollar while shipping over all the jobs over to China, just like David Rockefeller did with Henry Kissinger under the Nixon administration.
Yeah.
There's so much waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, this is a small one compared, but still, I think it should be addressed because there's multiple factors with healthcare. There's multiple factors of people not wanting to work. There's multiple factors of really bad, destructive, self-destructive behaviors being subsidized through taxpayer dollars that needs to end and stop. So there needs to be a real adult conversation about this. And if we're not going to have that at this particular moment, this nation's doomed, especially with all the automation and AI replacement of jobs that's happening and going to happen soon. I mean, I think the ultimate plan by big government is to keep people subsidized and on EBT and on SNAP benefits. I think that's exactly what they want. And I think these numbers, 40 million, I think they're nothing compared to what's really going to happen in the future, where a vast majority of Americans are going to have to be on it.
Yeah, I want to get a couple of viewer messages, and then we're going to talk about some of the other. I mean, we're going to know we're going to find out in 4 days if people are going to be rioting. And I think they probably will. I think in the cities, you're going to see smash and grab, food robberies.
And then the problem happens when right-wingers, right, are going to start to organize like security and their little types of organizations and bands. And that's the issue that I'm worried about personally.
Yeah. And then there's going to be a shot heard around the world. And
there's going to be another George Floyd.
Yeah. Mark Zart says, good afternoon, Jeremy, Hannah, Claire, and Luke. Jeremy, maybe you should have waited for the game to be over before tweeting LOL. Packers dominate, and I hope Melanie has her Packer gear ready. I know that she's, I mean, I don't know. She's not really on Twitter, but she made the bet. So she's going to have to buy a Packers jersey and wear it tomorrow. Land Whale says, go ahead.
Do you think she'll pull the but I didn't see it. I'm not on Twitter.
No, she was she made the bet on the show. That's
true. She knows about these things.
Yeah. Landwell says, how many barrels did Luke clean this weekend? Oh, they were sparkling. Hey. They were sparkling.
Hey,
Admiral Gamer says, I wonder how many red spots on the EBT map are also Indian reservations. That's true. I guarantee all of them are.
A lot of Native Americans.
Every one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a raw number, it's not many, but as a percentage, almost all Native. If you're on the res, you get EBT. It's like guaranteed.
Astounding numbers.
Yeah. PJ Schrader says, Luke, I need your help. Is peanut oil one of the bad seed oils? A coworker keeps recommending it to me, but I don't want to be gay. Peanut oil's okay, right?
I don't know. There's a lot of things that I hear from like people who ingest a crap ton of peanuts that they had digestive issues and problems with. It depends on your gut and how your system reacts to it, just like everything. I'm a little bit more cautious. I just prefer not to do it, but test it out, see how you feel. And then if it's not serving you, you don't feel good, don't do it.
Well, and sometimes too, it's just like with olive oil. Not all olive oil is bad, but some of it is.
Yeah.
So take the time to
just seed oils, especially when it says multi-source on the back of it.
Yeah, olive oil is totally fine, but you need a single source. And so like when you go to the olive oil aisle, it takes a while. Like for me, for we switch from like the big green bottle that everyone gets. I don't know the brand, but it's like a big green bottle.
The universal olive oil. I get you.
Yeah. It was hard as fuck to find a single source, but all I did was just look for what's the most expensive. And then I was like, okay, that's just fancy. And then I kind of got down to the single source and then glass bottle. Obviously, you don't want it in a plastic bottle.
Some people collect wines. Now all the health gurus are collecting like expensive olive oils, and they can get them in all these like weird glasses and all from all these weird places.
You get a lot of infused olive oils too.
We use infused olive oil. There's a store here, like a chain that sells like olive oil that you go in the store and you can pick, and some of them are infused, some of them, like pepper infused or whatever. And it's great. Yeah. I mean, it's like, we have to go like 3 times a year. It's not like a thing where I'm like always worried about having olive oil around. But peanut oil may have the same thing. There may be like a good type of peanut oil and a bad type of peanut oil, but it isn't on the list of automatic bad seed oils like grapeseed oil and some of these other ones that you want to canola oil. Yeah. McLeod says there was a thing called means testing that included checking out if they actually need it or not, including showing up at the door. They used to do that. Correct. Moonrocker says you do not get SNAP if you're on SSI disability or VA disability benefits. I tried lots of times. We make too much according to them for any kind of help. Yeah, you make too much on SSI. Yeah, that's why the system's so broken. Like somebody who's on like disability should probably also qualify for SNAP, but they're like, and like I knew a lot of guys that and several of them worked with me at Walmart that were on disability, and so they had to really limit their hours. By the way, the one guy who was on disability, I don't know what he was on for because he was like a bodybuilder. He didn't look disabled at all to me. So he was probably scamming the system, but he's like, I can only work 23 hours a week. Otherwise it was this weird thing where like, yeah, but I understood why he did it because he needed health insurance. And so he got health insurance through his disability benefits. And if he made too much, then he would lose his insurance, which costs way more than he made working. Like, I agree. That's fucked up. And I wouldn't blame someone for working that loophole. Like, you need health insurance, and you know, I'm not saying it's okay,
can, like,
but
find a like job that gives you health insurance at a reasonable price. Like, I understand that in that scenario, you're like, you're stuck with the options that you have.
yeah. The Wolfman says, name them Crockett and Cortez. That'd be kind of cool. Moon Rocket says, name your chickens off the He-Man cartoon. Yeah, Skeletor would be good. And Grog Bear says, Luke, one will inevitably become an escape artist. Name it DB Cooper. I do have, I have this, we have to shut down. We kind of talked about the shutdown already as a part of the SNAP funding. But I did have this other story I wanted to cover. But before that, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsors of the show real quick. Accident or injured in any way, you should know how to protect your rights. That's why I'm so glad to have this video sponsor Morgan & Morgan. When you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions of dollars. Morgan & Morgan doesn't settle for lowball offers. Just in the past couple of months, Morgan & Morgan saw verdicts of $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times the highest insurance offer, and $6.8 million in New York, 25 times the highest insurance offer. Their fee is absolutely free unless you win. Fighting big companies takes a big law firm. As America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan are ready to take on insurance companies of all sizes. Morgan & Morgan has modernized the injury law process so you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from your smartphone. And remember, size matters. Morgan & Morgan is big. They're America's largest injury law firm. That means they have the resources to fight to get you the best results, and they're capable of spending millions on a case to see it through. Did you know you can start a claim with America's largest injury law firm in just one click? It's so easy. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/quartering or click the link in the description down below.
Every once in a while.
I wanted to talk about this other issue. I don't know if you saw this video. It's pretty dystopian over the weekend. This was filmed in California. So I don't know if you guys all saw this, but it's pretty nuts.
सुन तो सही, इस बार अगर टाइम से पैसा नहीं भेजा ना मैं घर ही नहीं आऊंगा, समझे? हाँ मैं गाड़ी चला रहा हूँ। अरे भाई सुन रहे हो ना? हाँ उल्टा वाला जोड़ क्या बोलो? हाँ 2 मिनट में तैयार हो जाएगा। अरे यार तू बस सुन, मैं बोल रहा हूँ फालतू में मोल तोल मत कर। क्या फोन रख नहीं चल रहा? हाँ देख रहा हूँ।
Yeah, what's it going for?
खिड़की खोल दूँ क्या? किलो दे देना, वरना पूरी पार्टी बिगड़ जाएगी। अरे सुन तो। अरे सुन रहे हो ना? हाँ वही फाइल भेजेगी मैं सर्वर डाउन है। मैं बार-बार बोल रहा हूँ फोन चेक करो सब अटका पड़ा है। हाँ मैं कर रहा हूँ यहाँ से तुम लोग वहाँ बैठ कर बस चाय पी रहे हो।
Are you not culturally enriched? Would you not dine from that culturally enriching dining experiment, Jeremy?
I mean, I would. I love the multitasking. I think that's a very, very good use of their time.
The American dream to multitask while doing absolutely everything.
Yeah,
They're showing initiative. They're working hard.
This is why, according to Elon Musk, this is why they need so many H-1Bs, because an American wouldn't do that. An American wouldn't.
Keep their hands on the wheel and pay attention.
Yeah, they're
not as hard working.
I have this. I have a video that I was saving for saving for Melanie Mack tomorrow because I know it's going to trigger her, and Hannah Claire is going to have to turd wrangle us both. But
We're trying it out today.
I'm gonna give you a little. I want to go. I just want to hear. Let's see. Before we talk about this dystopian new thing, this is at a spelling bee out west somewhere, I guess.
Your word is redeem.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
I redeem the gift card.
Why do you redeem the gift
I know Melanie's gonna love that one. I always like when I see videos. Usually, I'm usually like, oh, this is good for Hannah Claire, or this is good for, There was this crazy Halloween decoration one I saved for tomorrow for Hannah Claire too that I thought was pretty good. How's
Thanks, Jeremy.
how's your how's the real world bubonic plague ensemble costume going, Hannah Claire?
It's underway. I actually,
really? We
yeah,
have
and I'm
progress?
recording making it. So if the
Oh, that's
stars
smart.
align, I'll have a video. I'll have a little vlog out on it for Halloween, a seasonal gift.
Here's a pro tip for you, HCB.
Okay.
You just turn that Halloween costume into a write-off.
I mean, look, I'm trying to get in the game here, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Being
free.
self-employed, I need a lot of write-offs.
Yeah, are you kidding
No.
me? Like, that's a totally legitimate write-off. You should even feel weird about it.
That's
like-
why when you and I get hair plugs together, we're both writing it off.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Somebody, I posted a picture. Like,
I
everyone
think the
thinks I'm
IRS would say something else about this. I think
Wrong.
there was a famous IRS case of someone buying like fancy clothes for his YouTube videos, and the IRS was like, "No, you can't do that."
Well, it's because he was wearing his clothes not in his YouTube videos. I believe that the cosmetic surgery can be. I happen to know several people over at. Well, I won't say where who wrote off their. I don't want them to get. I thought. Hey, by the way, Luke, I thought maybe this. What do you think about this chick? I thought she'd be perfect for you.
CNN says 7 million people came out for the No King's Day protests. Knowing the media, I'd say the number's probably half that, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. This is who you've been arguing with, people. 2.12% of the population. Amazing how it's pretty much the national average for mental health. If my math is mathin', for every 100 citizens, 2.12 of them are batshit crazy. The entire country has been gripped in chaos for the last decade because of 2.12% of the population. Their voice is only magnified by social media and mainstream media. If these platforms weren't so biased, we wouldn't even notice them. It's not even a voice at this point. It's just noise.
I mean, she's right.
She's definitely bubbly.
I'm surprised you picked out a lady wearing Crocs for anybody. You're so anti-Croc.
Well, it's because I don't like Luke. I posted this picture, right? I had
Crocs.
multiple people accusing me of getting hair plugs. I'm like, I'm not bald. I was like, but I will get hair plugs. Like, well, probably
Don't
not
ask
now.
me twice, says Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm not bald. Tim Pool would never. And but I will. I'm 100%
We should all
on
make a
board.
group trip. All of us should get hair plugs.
You don't need them, Luke. You're doing good. You have good coverage still.
Yeah,
but don't
but
you want to have like
whatever.
thick heads of hair, like the Theo Von mullet?
We'll all come back with Afro puffs.
Yeah. No, it's your real
and
hair.
VP cards.
They take it off like the back and they move it. So I think it grows. I don't know. I
They
don't.
move the follicles.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Like how I understand it. So I don't know if it still grows or not. Or I think it does because like
It does, otherwise it would just fall out again, right?
yeah. I had this dystopian video that I wanted to share. Where was this? Not in my DMs. Shit, sorry. I went too far.
What video are you looking for? Because I think I might
got
know what you're talking about.
I got it
This
right here.
stop hiring humans thing is freaking me out. These Halloween decorations are going too far, guys.
I know. Well, I do think we're going to hit a wall with what AI can do, but I do think it's going to decimate the like programming world and like customer service world. I mean, I already like when I was trying to talk to United Airlines, it was pretty good and it was very clearly AI, but I actually like talked to it and I got a resolution. Like so But these are rolling out right now at Walmart, Luke.
Oh my God! Look,
Oh yeah.
these price tags started updating right in front of me.
Yeah.
This is crazy, dude.
Welcome to fucking surge pricing on bowls.
Oh,
Yeah, and
no.
depending on demand, so if people are
Yeah.
buying a bunch of stuff, they'll just make it more expensive. If you have a social credit score that isn't
Yes.
high,
It gets tied into
your items will go up automatically the more that you kind of walk by them. So that's the dystopian future. Like, oh yeah, you shared a racist meme video about Indians on Twitter.
Yeah.
10 negative.
Indians mass reported my Discord because we had like a thread of Indian poop memes, and like.
But they do that in China. In China, if you have a low social credit score, you can't buy premium internet. You can't buy first-class train tickets.
Yeah.
You can't travel in some instances. You can't put your kids in good schools in some instances. So it all depends on how low your score is. But this system's already utilized, and it's probably going to be used in a way where it's going to be price gouging you based on your political opinions sometime in the future too. That's why I'm so against digital ID and what they're doing in the UK.
They just got it past it. They're just like, oh yeah, this is how stupid people are, Luke. I thought about you when I read this article. The way they got digital ID pushed out in the UK is they said it was to help stop illegal immigration.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so stupid. They're not going to ask illegals to get digital IDs, you dumb fucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like when they ask people like turn over their guns. So like, this is to stop the criminals. Now give us your guns, you law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, it was what I couldn't believe that they said that. Like, well, if we get E-Verify, we'll be able to stop the illegal immigration. I'm like, and like people were like, yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. Here's my digital.
The only time they've ever leveraged illegal immigration too. They're like,
yeah,
actually, we do care about it in this case.
Yeah,
it was
Tony
the Blair was
shit.
literally talking about how we needed a digital ID to see who's vaccinated and who's not vaccinated, because the unvaccinated needed to be kicked out of normal society. That's literally what Tony Blair was talking about at the World Economic Forum. So it's so Orwellian, so worrying. I mean, Donald Trump issued the Real ID too. Also, another grave big mistake that I just don't like.
Yeah, and they forced it. You had to. When was the switchover? Last year?
Mm-hmm.
A couple months ago.
Or a couple months ago.
Earlier this year, as soon as Trump came into office, Kristi Noem was like, "This is for your protection." I'm like, "No, it's not. Get out of here."
Yeah, are the 20 million illegals? Do they have Real ID? I wanted to focus on this video actually for a little bit that Turkey Tom put out. Turkey Tom is a YouTuber. I don't know why he doesn't like me. Apparently, he doesn't like me because I don't know. He has me blocked for whatever reason. I've never interacted with him.
One time?
I don't think so. I think he's kind of a lefty, but maybe not. I don't know. He put out this video and nobody's talking about it. But he got somebody in Tyler Robinson's Discord to leak him all the Discord messages.
Oh wow!
And unsurprisingly, we see many things confirmed. Like, I want to start. Like, remember how everyone was like, nobody actually talks about. He never called him my love. That's crazy in the text messages, you know. Well, this guy was like, oh, no, he absolutely did call him my love all the time. Tyler Robinson called, like, essentially confirming the authenticity of those text messages. And also, one of the last... I'm going to let this play for a second, and I got to go pay the contractors, but there are some bombshells here that actually really... I'm not going to poison the well. I'm going to let this play. I'll be right back. You guys comment on it.
It's not on the screen, by the way, and it's not playing.
Don't leave us yet.
I heard it. I heard you.
Yeah.
So this is
a myth.
This is one of his friends who hung out with Tyler and Lance together, giving an interview. And then he also leaks all the Discord messages, which we'll go over separately.
Needed to tell me about the state of Tyler and Lance's living space. The apartment would drastically shift from clean to super dirty, depending on the state of Lance's mood. I don't have too many pictures of most of the mess, but basically, he'd start living in the living room and just start turning it into his nest. After the first roommate moved out, and right after Tyler moved in like 2 weeks later, Lance had a really big breakdown. The living room went from a place guests came over to something that had to be hid. People still came over, but everyone got weirded out by all the trash. He basically had layers of wires, random Temu trinkets, decorations, random art projects, clothes, and empty alcohol containers everywhere. And if anyone touched it, he would get livid. One friend got banned from the apartment for a while because he kept touching the Temu trinkets. I wish I still had pictures, but I felt sort of guilty and deleted them since I knew Lance wasn't in the right state of mind. For context, I've been playing games with Lance and Tyler for like 6 years. I count myself kind of close to them, but I was trying to separate them from myself because being around them wasn't good for me. I say them, but Tyler was always level-headed and easygoing. But Lance could be anywhere from too depressed to talk to manic, wide-eyes, crazy person. I'll take a brief moment here to comment on the fact that in my original video, this is more or less the impression that I had, judging exclusively from Lance's more significant and expressive online presence relative to Tyler's almost non-existent digital paper trail. From Lance's Reddit account and the things his family members had to say about him, he clearly was more outspoken and in some ways unstable. There were Reddit posts of his mentioning being at odds with his family to the point of being kicked out, and he had also discussed a lot of substance abuse issues, which are a far cry from the quiet, even if uneasy relationship that Tyler seemed to have with his family. What was completely unknown, and as far as I know hasn't been published anywhere, is this combination of hoarding and mania that this person describes Lance as exhibiting. The messages continue. During this first nest phase, Lance started working very rarely. He worked with his dad for a tub repair company. They'd either repair tubs or install them at construction sites. But when Lance was super depressed or just too manic, he'd take the day off and hit his THC vape, drink, and scroll reels. Anyway, 2 weeks before Lance's first nest phase, when the apartment was mostly normal, Tyler moved in with Lance because he'd just dropped out of college and was tired of living with his parents. He had been working with his dad at a stone cutting business where they'd install countertops. Tyler was kind of your normal blue-collar Utah guy. Most conversations with him, he'd talk hunting, camping.
What you're going to find out in this interview is basically Tyler became Lance Swiggs' caretaker because he was basically schizoid. They also have some
and smoking weed and vapes all the time.
And he was an alcoholic. He also was taking bathtub hormones, black market hormones,
Yikes.
to help his transition. And I wanted to go to this section here. So basically, kind of deep. Here's this here.
Another suspicion of mine expressed in the first video. Prior to
He was taking LSD, shrooms, and DMT as well.
2024, neither Lance nor Tyler were particularly political, as they only ever expressed opinions that could be loosely classified as socially liberal, which most young Zoomers are by default anyway. However, this changed suddenly and drastically during the year that they lived together. He had his nest phase for probably 3 to 4 months before he sort of went back to normal. But at the tail end of his nest phase, after we had both talked for a while, he told me he was trans, and that it wouldn't change anything, and that I could even use whatever pronouns, and he wouldn't care. Over the next week and a half, the living room got dismantled. He vacuumed and cleaned the kitchen a bit, but he still kept one mold experiment outside for some reason. It was kind of relieving to not see so much trash lying around. We weren't allowed to toss even the most mundane trash like napkins and Taco Bell sauce packets, which there was an entire drawer of. So seeing all the cans and bottles disappear was super nice. Whenever we came over, people commented on how it's nice that we could hang out without being scared of accidentally touching trash or a trinket and having Lance freak out. We'd have a mostly weekly Magic the Gathering night at the apartment where everyone would come drink, get high, and play Magic. Lance started attending again after he became mostly normal. It's interesting to see that him identifying as trans came while he was in his nesting phase, but he maintained it after it had ended. It does startle me a bit how basically all of Lance's friend group, who frequently visited Lance and Tyler's house, just kind of tolerated this going on for months. I have no idea how it's possible to put up with a situation so clearly deranged for that long, but hey, different strokes for different folks. Now, it's this next set of messages that I find really interesting. Between all of his turns while playing Magic, Lance would go hang out with Tyler, and we'd have to call him to the tables every time it was his turn. One of my gym buddies was the first to pick up on Tyler and Lance being really close. I was in denial for months because I thought Tyler was straight, and also I kind of did not want it to be.
I think Tyler got groomed, by the way. In
True.
This,
Eventually, I kind of snapped out of it like the nth time I saw them asleep, cuddling on the couch. I kind of didn't think too much of it since Lance would get super cuddly every time he got drunk, which is how I think they got together, because I'm pretty sure Tyler was a virgin when he moved in. So probably when Lance was in the cuddly mood, probably something happened. But that's just my guess.
Yeah. I wonder if he was abusing him, or he like groomed him, or
this is where a lot of
I think this paints a more definitive picture of like this Tyler being emotionally controlled by Lance, and also becoming crazy.
Things start clicking together. Tyler, an introverted gamer who, as far as anyone could tell, had no prior relationships of any significance, spent 4 months living with his best friend, Lance, who apparently got overly cuddly with everyone while drunk, and simultaneously had the proclivity to drink too often. It's not surprising that this was the outcome of a touch-starved virgin gamer living in the same house as a touchy-feely, seemingly manic trans person. However, a while after Lance had mostly gone back to normal, things started to intensify again. I started noticing changes in Lance's political views as the presidential election got closer. He amped up the complaints of old people staring at him, which probably was because he dressed like a stoner and not because he was female presenting, because all he did in that department was grow out his hair and wear mascara every once in a while. He also hated that the construction workers would misgender him, which I thought was weird since he said he was fine with any pronoun. Tyler wouldn't really get political until after the election. He'd sometimes just casually bring up the latest thing Trump had done and complain about what it'd do to the country, but in a very level-headed way. Before the election, Lance's friend group was the quirky LGBT group with a lot of mental illnesses. Not saying the two are linked, but that's how my friends knew them. They're the people who are in Lance's server for the most part. After the election, they became a lot more political, but not to an extremist level. By this point, I could safely...
Wait, was there no audio on the crypto read? You couldn't even hear me talking?
There was nothing. I didn't hear anything during the crypto read. I messaged you in the private chat.
Oh, okay.
Say Lance and Tyler were some flavor of left-wing, while I'd become tired of politics and mostly apolitical, but never anything I thought was like dangerous. At some point, they told me about their relationship and were pretty open about it after that. It became very uncomfortable for me because while I don't think of myself as homophobic, seeing two dudes constantly make out was a bit much. Also, since Lance's room was always super messy, they would bang in Tyler's room, and I didn't like hearing it. I cannot imagine how much it sucked to be in this guy's shoes. While this is a bit out of character for Tyler, who's been consistently described as reserved, it does match Lance's behavior of being overly transparent and letting other people, even people who randomly visited him, see, which I do not know what that entailed, but I think it was making him very erratic.
So a couple months before it, he had been growing breasts and said he'd been taking black market HRT, which, So
he basically shut down for like 2 weeks, not talking, just hitting his vapes in the living room in the dark. So here we have the mention of possibly one of the most concerning details about what kind of substances Lance was on at this point in time. Taking synthetic hormones of any kind, whether the kind and quantity your body already produces or not, is extremely dangerous and can cause pretty much every kind of health issue imaginable, including mental. Even if you're a guy and you take just a little bit of testosterone, you can suffer all kinds of side effects. So obviously, in Lance's case, the risks are much greater by default, and it's made exponentially more dangerous given the circumstances. This is...
I gotta reread that real quick. Hold on. I fucked up on the... I don't want to have to do it again, so let me just do this real quick.
Every once in a while.
There we go. Huge shout out to Crypto.com. Let's be clear, cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here. And this latest move cements that reality in a big way. Trump Media Group just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Yorkville Acquisition Group and Crypto.com, the crypto platform trusted by millions of users worldwide. They're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like cash back on your spends. To establish America's first CRO treasury, Trump Media Group CRO strategy. When it's done, this new company will be the biggest publicly traded CRO holder out there. If you want in on the action, head to crypto.com today. Let's make crypto great again. For this, more information on the proposed business combination, check out Yorkville Acquisition Corp's public filings. Okay. So what do you make of this so far?
Drug infused, hormone, black market, vaping, alcohol type of loner type of activity that it definitely doesn't seem like the best of activity, especially when you're kind of very young, when you're developing. As you know, there's still a lot of questions about what this kind of furry guy was doing and not doing, his potential involvement.
I still believe he's involved in some. I think he got Tyler to do it. That's what I think happened.
I think the FBI admitted that he's the one that destroyed the note by Tyler that allegedly confirmed this. There was also multiple reports of cars with different states' license plates outside of their homes kind of coming in and out. Mm-hmm. But obviously, you know, I was saying, hey, just release all the Discords, like get all the information out there.
Well, we have
it definitely does. Yeah,
we have them coming up here. There's also this other person also says that, like, moments after the shooting, Tyler jumped in to the Discords and admitted it to everybody, like into voice calls. Like this video. Like, hold on a second.
Someone who has proven himself to be delusional, chronically sleep deprived, and prone to overdoing substances. There is simply no chance he was mentally well enough to manage and administer dosages of any kind, let alone procure or produce untainted bathtub HRT. While studies on this stuff are hard to come by, fine, but people started to show up and talk before we started, and he just started yelling at us from the other room to shut up, which we thought was a joke since this was standard Magic Night procedure. He yelled again, and then we got quiet until enough people showed up to start a game. During the game, one of my more autistic friends started to bring up transgenders in sports. He literally couldn't get any further than those two words before Lance yelled at him to shut up from the other room. And to everyone's amazement, he tried to bring it up like 3 more times in rapid succession, being shouted down.
Sounds pretty based.
Literally not even a second after he started his sentence every time. It became a very awkward game. It's pretty funny to think back on now. Bro could not take a hint. After that, more people showed up, and we started having 2 games going, and the mood mostly stayed around on the floor.
I'm trying to find this. So he goes upstairs and has a mental break. Go ahead.
So this is the Discord of someone describing what happened in the Discord, or is this because this sounds like a narration?
No, this is their friends' messages to Turkey Tom to establish that he was their friend, and then in a few minutes he goes through all the Discord messages.
Turkey, yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah. So basically all this, and then they have pictures of their house. He took all these pictures.
Oh wow.
And he also has. Look at these drawings.
G and the word lock near it.
Really looks like Aubrey, the other trans killer. Like he had all these.
Right above this, there's also what looks to be the small
Aubrey Hale. Yeah.
Phrase E equals T, and elsewhere on the note I can also make out the words regent and temp, although I have no idea if this is alluding to anything in particular. On the right side of the image, another post-it has the sentence all of separate underneath what looks to be the portmanteau no linguals. This is very rough to make out, obviously, but bilingual means that someone knows 2 languages. Monolingual means that someone knows 1. Therefore, no lingual would mean someone who knows no languages, or someone who is nonverbal. The next set of scribbles is a bit more cohesive, although I'm using that word pretty loosely here at this point. Here we can see stop looking for others at the top and Terraria buggin tear ableist in the middle, which I think may be some wordplay with terrible and ableist. At the bottom of this page, an illustrated version of the word sine wave is written above lose it at the tude, next to a picture of some bizarre looking animal. This at the tude.
I mean, these drawings just basically kind of say this guy's just schizo. Like, These are
I mean,
these
he
are
sounds like he's like
schizophrenic.
bipolar, given there's
Yeah.
like depressive states
Is
and manic
this
states.
Tyler or the furry?
This is the
The
furry.
Got it.
Now we get to Tyler. You know, these drawings are just, I think to me, I looked through these drawings, you know, and then I guess he basically goes crazy, doing like the Joker laugh. You know, he would have called an exorcist, he said. And then, where is this here? But basically he ends up saying like, you know, Tyler is basically like taking care of this guy. This looks like there's blood on there, although maybe not, just marker. We all thought Tyler was a trooper. Now here he starts to talk about the calls he makes, which again,
in that
I
state.
think is very.
So the next image attached in these messages is one that I don't think I can show you guys on YouTube, but you will be able to check it for yourself in the description. But it's a used condom on the sink of the bathroom in the common area. We know this photo was taken in their apartment because the counter, sink, toilet, and other details matched this photo of their sink taken from a Zillow listing.
That's what it was when they moved in, and that's what it looked like after they lived there.
Yeah.
Gnarly.
We know this photo was taken in their apartment because the counter,
Never cleaned it once.
sink, toilet, and other details matched this photo of their sink taken from a Zillow listing. The same applies to another photo of the table in their living room, which once again matches the Zillow listing, as we can see that the window with the white blinds is in the same location. As
All of this is basically bona fide, saying like that he was there, that these stories are, you know, he was actually in the house, he hung out with them.
nasty as this is to even take into consideration, it is worth noting that it is completely empty, which leads me to think that even if Tyler was still engaging with Lance in this way, it was more out of pity or a sense of duty than anything else. The
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Tyler was gay. I think he got groomed.
anonymous peer says, crazily enough, while Lance was like that, Tyler was still hitting it. When I told Lance I would be leaving the general area, it was crazy. He snapped back to reality for a second and just thanked me for all the good times we had had hanging out throughout the years. After that, I think Lance had been brought back just a little bit, and he even let Tyler take him out of the house to start seeing a psychologist. It almost made me feel bad because, not gonna lie, I was starting to become really apathetic and not really care about what happened. Like, it was just so much energy to try and deal with Lance. Tyler was a real trooper for dealing with him. Lance even calmed down enough for us to hold like 3 more magic nights. We all thought Lance would be okay because he had Tyler, who was basically his handler at this point, to take care of him. Eventually, my friend who lived across the street from their apartment let me know that Lance had gotten into an argument with his grandpa, who owned the apartment, and his grandpa had taken his car away. This I'm not sure about, but I suspect it put him into another one of these spirals. I imagine Lance was just alone with Tyler in the apartment, just driving Tyler crazy. I'd be hard pressed to stay sane while living alone with Lance while he's like that. I joined a couple Discord calls with Tyler and Lance would say one thing and then be silent, and Tyler would just talk normally. Tyler even joined a call 2 weeks before the assassination and acted completely normal. All of this is really interesting to me because while we did have an inkling that neither Tyler nor Lance ended, it seemed usually that they're being stalked or otherwise directly antagonized by them. I joined a couple.
This is a little bit of an probably a little bit of editorialization, but he does think that Lance became obsessed with Charlie Kirk, thinking that Charlie Kirk was coming for him, which may have what led Tyler to defend, you know.
Couple Discord calls with Tyler and Lance would say one thing and then be silent, and Tyler would just talk normally. Tyler even joined a call 2 weeks before the assassination and acted completely normal. All of this is really interesting to me because while we did have an inkling that neither Tyler nor Lance were in their right mind by the time the attack took place, it seems like the situation was that Tyler was being subjected to an incessant barrage of genuinely psychotic ramblings from a paranoid and deranged Lance, who had recently become significantly more political. As is customary for people with these kinds of delusions, they start fixating on prominent people, imagining they have some specific relationship to that person, usually that they're being stalked or otherwise directly antagonized by them. This is probably when the name of Charlie Kirk entered the mix, and while it was probably just one among many delusions Lance would probably forget about by the time his episode ended, it seems it seeped into Tyler's mind as the cause of Lance's problems. Obviously, there's the political context of it, with Lance being trans and Charlie being conservative and criticizing the trans community. But judging from the leaked messages between Lance and Tyler, it does seem Lance himself is taken aback and shocked that Tyler did what he did. If I were to guess, Tyler took some of the things Lance must have said while in a state of delusion to heart, while Lance had already forgotten about them a while later. Their peer concludes his messages by saying, after talking to another friend apparently right after he did the shooting,
This part.
he joined a bunch of Discord calls asking if anyone had seen the news while breathing heavily. And literally the next day, he was in call, just chatting with people while playing his puzzle games. And also for the record, Tyler 100% calls Lance my love when they are talking alone. Hopefully this sheds some light on what it was like behind the scenes. With all of this context provided, I think it's beyond the shadow of a doubt that the last messages exchanged between Tyler and Lance are real. It also elucidates the nature of their relationship, as Lance was someone Tyler was mostly taking care of rather than having a normal relationship dynamic with. Memes to each other on Discord.
Now, here are the Discord messages from both archived. Now, this is just the public stuff, so we wouldn't know if there was anything weird going on in the DMs. But I think if, like, based on what I'm seeing here, you could paint, certainly people could say, BS, I still think it was the feds, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I can't disprove that. But what I can say, if we stay on the track of Tyler was like this protector and was clearly being psychologically abused by Lance, and in my opinion, groomed into gay sex acts, even though he wasn't gay, is what I also assume. That he just thought, well, I got to do this to protect, after spending years of protecting this guy, this was just yet another thing he was doing to protect his psychopath boyfriend. I think what will come out at trial will be that Lance was obsessed with Charlie Kirk and was like, try and got Tyler to,
he's kind of making kind of like a mania of two argument, like one person being crazy can be contagious if you're isolated enough.
Yeah.
Is there any place that I could take a look at the Discord messages? Are they publicly released, or is there just
they're right here in a
video
paste bin. There's a paste bin right here. I'll give it to you. The Discord messages, the public Discord messages are the only thing I thought of real note is basically they were just memeing and making like racist jokes like normally people do, but there's a couple
against which tribe? Indians, blacks, Chinese.
No, well, they were a lot of anti-religious stuff, but also there was like, the rules are known maybe 5 minutes in, and Donald starts arguing with the moderator, blah blah blah. I wish at least she, like, anti-vax wasn't protected under shit, like being anti-vax wasn't protected under freedom of speech. And that's, well, let me go back to the beginning so we can establish Zealous Monkey is Tyler Robinson. Okay. Tyler Robinson said, I wish shit like being anti-vax wasn't protected under freedom of speech. They were both leftists. There was also this in the Discords. Tyler talked about having a YouTube channel that he had lost access to, which isn't really important. But one of the other things is this fishaladdle is Lance. And one of the final Discord messages he ever posted was inviting the entire Discord server to the No Kings rally. Let me grab that. That I thought was the biggest, like, at least we can say, like, okay, obviously they were both leftists.
Right.
Here.
Lastly, we have Lance inviting everyone in his server to attend the anti-Trump No Kings protest.
This was, by the way, this is not old. This was June 13th of this year.
Yeah.
Over the previous half a decade worth of Discord messages, nothing from Lance comes even close to as clear of a political expression as this. As far as Tyler's presence in Lance's server, one of the last messages I was able to find of his was sent in August, where he simply says, "I am very ill." Within a month of this message, the tragic day of September 10th comes around, and the following day, Tyler sends his confession message to their old friend group server.
There it is. So he has an archive of the confession.
It's interesting to me that he sent it in this server and not to Lance's new server, because I'm not sure why that is. It could just be that he was less familiar with the people there, where he lists himself as they/them. It's not possible for this account to belong to someone else that created it after the assassination, as it was created 2 years ago. Then we have another account with the same exact handle, this time on Fur Affinity, but there doesn't seem to be any significant activity on it, just like on
He was into furry porn, by the way.
DeviantArt. And for those of you who don't know, Fur Affinity is like the furry website. It's the #1 furry website, okay? Now, there's also 2 Reddit accounts under the names Crafton247 and Crafton248, neither of which contain any significant info. There's one post on each account, both of some pretty mundane content and from years ago, long before he was dating Lance and became more politicized. Now, lastly, there are the Steam accounts of both Tyler and Lance. Tyler was clearly much more active on Steam, being level 50 on the platform. It is interesting that Tyler once set his name on there as Donald Trump, but besides that, nothing of note really. Part of why there's very little to say is that
I think that's kind of interesting.
Tyler clearly set most of his settings to more private options, which, again, is pretty reflective of the kind of guy he was. Lance, on the other hand, had pretty much every facet of his profile completely public, where we can see that the last game he played was 2 days after Charlie's death, and his profile has been completely inactive since then. Given the testimony from Tyler...
I think that Lance Twiggs, okay, if you believe the theory that Tyler Robinson is the shooter, okay, I know that, people don't. I do. I believe that Tyler Robinson was groomed and sexually abused by Lance Twiggs, and I think that Lance Twiggs was the mastermind behind the assassination. That's what I believe. And I mean, why is he in witness protection? He's pretty clearly in some level of
right.
If he wasn't in witness protection, why isn't he playing video games? He hasn't logged on to his server.
Someone who's that online, I assume it would be almost impossible to just go cold turkey, like no video games, no social media. There's a lot of internet dependence.
No furry porn, no. Yuck. I think that Lance Twiggs is in witness protection. And because of that, he doesn't have access to any of his Steam account or any of that kind of stuff.
Or he could be getting held and charged too. I mean,
right.
Who knows, right?
They're probably trying to figure out.
Because they probably came to him and said, "We got destruction of evidence here.
Minimum.
You deleted this? No. So you're going to go to jail. We're going to make an example out of you." There's also a guy who just came out and says that the FBI is calling him to delete his video footage of what happened that day.
I know that guy's yeah, but I mean, and then he just posted it anyway.
Telling the truth or not?
But he posted it anyway.
He posted the full clip. Yeah.
Yeah. So is the FBI really, you know what I mean? And maybe the FBI said, "Hey, we're using this as evidence in the case. Can you not, post it out there?" I don't know. It's possible that the FBI said that, but certainly the FBI is going to be like, "Yo, who is this guy?" He was clearly one of a small group of people. And he's out there that he basically dropped a lot of receipts, but I do think that I think that Tyler Robinson was abused and groomed. That's what I think. He was an 18-year-old virgin moving in with a guy who's,
And most of those online people don't really have great relations with women and don't have access to women, especially the younger a man is. And he's like, "Well, I have hormones, so hey." He got fake boobs.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me, again, we're assuming all of these are valid, they come from a real source. It's interesting that they talk about this caretaker dynamic.
Well, I would say it's valid because these Discord messages, I mean,
I don't have any way to independently verify it right now.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the caretaker dynamic is interesting because as soon as you feel responsible for someone, I think that opens the door for all kinds of emotional entanglement. it seems like it was. I'm sure his parents are very sad that he moved in with this guy. It seems like that.
He seemed like a pretty normal dude when he moved in, and then 6 months later, he's getting high and he's boning a dude who's a complete schizoid. And it doesn't seem like he was very happy. It seemed like, I imagine dealing with a guy this unhinged is like a full-time job, like managing this, I
assume, they are having friends over, but a lot of them, for the most part, they are pretty isolated, which is, dangerous in a lot of cases.
Yeah. I mean, does this for either one of you add any more credibility to Tyler Robinson being the actual shooter or not?
I tend to lean towards he is the shooter as of right now. I mean, concrete evidence leaning the other way, maybe I would change my mind, but it does seem like this is an increasingly toxic or volatile living situation and social dynamic. And if we accept, which I think we should, that there is an increase in online oriented violence, like people going to the Annunciation Church and citing all kinds of weird political online stuff, or different attacks that we've seen motivated by people who are in chat rooms, like there's no reason to disbelieve what we're being told here. And I think that's sort of, again, like, people don't want to talk about the problems with having these terminally online young people in our society, but it really could be a huge detriment we're ignoring.
Well, it's
I still have my questions. Like, listening to these discords doesn't make it an open and shut case. I think, Steve Bannon came out, and I kind of agree with his assessments, saying, look, the FBI hasn't really handled this correctly. They need to come out with the receipts to disprove a lot of this. And they have a lot of the receipts, and I hope they do. But a lot of people are skeptical of them for a lot of serious, legitimate reasons. There's still a lot of questions. Obviously, this was a troubled, crazy living environment that could potentially explain some of this. But I still believe there are some serious questions that deserve to be answered that haven't yet been answered by the feds. Yeah,
I think that's fair. And we don't know what they're going to release finally at trial. There is still a trial going on. They might have, I'll put it this way. They definitely have way more than we know. Like, they definitely have it. They probably have a video confession from Tyler, right? And they probably have, they probably can answer the exit wound question right now, but they can't compromise their own case. I think, I don't think this is like open and shut, but I think this does a couple of things. I do think it legitimizes the text message exchange.
Sure.
It also gives us an archive. Before, they only said he confessed in Discord. Now we see a Discord archive of where he confessed. It also adds...
Well, didn't he delete... Wasn't that video message where he allegedly confessed deleted?
The Post-it note... the Post-it note was trashed.
Yeah, but then the Discord message there allegedly was a voice message that was deleted, right?
That could be.
That wasn't. Yeah, but there wasn't publicized because correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see a confession in these new messages too.
Yeah,
there was that one shot where he was like, "I'm sorry, guys, it was me at UVU."
Yeah, this is Tom has the Discord archives. These are not screenshots of somebody else's screenshots. So his friend sent him this, and his confession is in there. It's right here. Thanks for all the laughs. It was me.
And not to Lance's new server because
we knew about it. We knew they existed, but now we can see that they definitely did exist. Yeah. No, we hadn't seen the actual images. And
didn't Discord make a weird statement about this, saying no, nothing was.
They said like nothing was planned here, but then there was like a screenshot of a text message, which seemed like a kind of loophole that they were presenting.
Yeah, I mean, this does not. I mean, this says, "Hey guys, I have bad news." He sent this at 7:57 p.m. on the day after, on September 11th. "I have bad news for y'all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. I'm surrendering to a sheriff in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and the laughs. You've been so amazing. Thank you for everything." Then it says, "Bro didn't deserve to go out like that. Rip, I guess. I just saw the video. Holy shit. dead. Charlie got shot. This is the 10th. It's going backward. Charlie got shot dead. He didn't deserve to go out. Like, even people in the Discord were not supportive. And then here is his confession. And then here is the God bless thing. So we don't just have a message in the ether. We have a message and active replies in the Discord of people reacting to it. We didn't have that before. We also have him confirming that he absolutely did call him my love, which adds validity. That was one of the things people are like, why nobody calls nobody. Look, people question the my love and his use of vehicle. Now, both of those have been debunked. There's traffic cam footage of Tyler Robinson using the term vehicle multiple times during a wreck he had. And now we know for a fact that he did call Lance my love. We also know that he called into several voice chat rooms to confess. And we also have his confession here in text. I mean, I'm starting to like, it's kind of narrowing down around this guy. Now, if you want to believe Mossad made him do it or whatever, I mean, I'm never going to change your mind. But this is pretty elaborate for a patsy. Like him confessing it, him going into voice chats and confessing it. Texting Lance and confessing it. Yeah, And by the way, this message about surrendering through the sheriff was before he did, and he subsequently did surrender through the sheriff and a family friend. So, like, this matches up the FBI's timeline of his surrendering. Yeah. There's a lot of like strengthening to the general narrative that happens in these Discord messages. You were
saying that you were surprised this video isn't getting more like commentary.
It got him almost 1 million views, but nobody in like the conservative space is talking. Wasn't a single article written about this. And I'm like, dude, a YouTuber got the Discord messages and released them, and like the Discord messages, pretty mundane, other than the fact that it kind of blows up Jimmy Kimmel's "he was a MAGA guy" thing because he's very clearly left wing. It doesn't really say it doesn't show him planning it, doesn't show, but it does show his confession, and it shows, people talking about it. And now we have a friend who's gone out and said, who proved they're a friend, proved he hung out at his house, has pictures from inside the house, saying, like there's a lot in this video that points at Tyler Robinson being the shooter. Believe it, don't believe it, but none of this points at the Mossad or somebody with a hand pistol or 2 energy tubes or whatever. None of that point. Now, let's see if Candace covers this. Like this directly flies in the face of, every conspiracy theory. It's more like, okay, yeah, he this is definitely everything we've been told publicly has now been confirmed. The question about the exit wound, the question about the gun, these are still questions, but you know what I mean?
Do you think people are not covering it because they like have memory holds what happened? That sounds a little dramatic.
People have moved on. People have moved on.
Or is it like they want to get in contact with the source and verify it themselves because they don't,
Well, that could be. If you're like the New York Post, you probably want to like get in contact with him and say like, we need to see these messages so we can verify they're real. There'll probably be a Daily Mail article on this tomorrow or the next day. You're probably right about that. Because, I mean, I think I covered it on my second channel over the weekend. And I was like, I know people, I might cover it again on the main just because it's like, folks, like this now on the chart of like certainty, maybe I was at 30 to 50% that it was Tyler Robinson. This does not take me to 100, but it takes me to 80 probably, because it's like, the other thing is I wonder if Discord can produce the audio calls. I don't know if those things are recorded on their servers or not, but if that exists, then it goes to 100 for me. Like if they can confirm, or if they can get somebody to testify that, yes, I answered a Discord call and yes, Tyler Robinson came in there and said that he did it. Like at some point you're just grasping for straws for it to not be him.
And I mean, I don't think Discord would do that without a subpoena, probably. I mean, I feel like they're trying to act like they've never even heard of anything.
Yeah, and and they probably have. I'm willing to bet that Discord can pull it. It's not like it's from 20 years ago, you
Sure.
know? And I'm pretty
Well,
sure
there's
that
the reason the NSA has huge data centers that are enormous, because they literally are track tracing, databasing every little single thing you say. So, you know, I think it is out there. And listen, there's still a lot of stuff that the FBI could release. I want a full timeline of the events, when and how he changed clothes. I want to see the full surveillance footage from the roof. I don't know why we got an edited portion of that. Now, there's also, Jack Posobiec was reporting that they got cell phone data with cell phone towers corroborating that it was Tyler Robinson, and a handprint that allegedly confirmed that it was Tyler from that roof. Now, again, a lot of people skeptical of the FBI. I get it. I'm on what Steve Bannon said. I think I just sent you. No, did I send you the Steve Bannon clip? He had an interesting comment over the last few days, and he's like, "Listen, I need more evidence." And
that's
I think,
fine. I got it here. Yeah. That's fine, but like, that's what you get. Like, Steve, yes, fine. You do need more, but I mean, that's what the trial's for.
Yeah.
They don't have to convince Steve Bannon. They have to convince a jury. And like, I get it. I totally agree with his. You did send that clip. I agree. Yeah. He's saying I need more to be convinced, but the FBI is not going to release. I guarantee you, if it was Tyler, they have some really damning shit that they just haven't released. Why would they need to release it? They're just going to put. It's going to come out of. Like, I don't know what the camera angles are.
The defense is going to get it anyway, right? So Tyler's going to get it. He probably already has it. His team's going through it, and they're talking about how they have voluminous amounts of huge evidence that they're going through right now. So they already have it, right?
But you can't poison the jury pool. I would assume that's the issue.
Yeah, this guy, good luck already finding a juror the way this is. It's like, they had the footage of the tent when the shooting happened at Carmelo Anthony, and they didn't release that to the public. Nobody was saying, now they did, some bitch leaked it, but like, you know, they didn't release that for that same reason. They're like, we have to find jurors. Like you know, like, and ultimately the footage really didn't, it was so grainy, like it didn't really prove anything. But yeah, they're like, once a trial starts, I would not be shocked if the FBI has a video of him just pulling the trigger. They could have a video of him laying down on the roof pulling the trigger. Yeah. Like,
you know, why release the edited portion of it? That's just the weird part of it, you know?
Well, I agree. If I would say like they shouldn't have released any of it. But when did they release it?
Any of it? Don't release any of it.
When did they release that?
If they didn't release anything, everyone would be like, "So you're not showing us anything?" Like, I don't know that you could ever make the mass public happy.
Well, did they release it while they were looking for their suspect though? I can't remember that timeline.
I don't
like. That's why you release it. You release it because you're like, we need help identifying this person. But if they had released it afterwards, then I agree. Then they shouldn't have released it.
Did you see people talking about the Google trends allegedly coming from Washington, D.C.? I don't know if that was debunked or not, but people are reporting that there was weird people searching Tyler Robinson and other people's names associated with it before the event happened, allegedly from Washington, D.C.
There's no way anyone could prove that.
That's what Redacted is reporting. I don't know if they verified that personally.
I think Redacted, I really like them, but they've definitely gone down the Candace Owens rabbit hole on this one. There's no way that anybody could verify that outside of Google themselves. So I don't know how would they know that unless they're going to claim it was a Google whistleblower. I guess I'll have to look into that.
No, Google Trends. You can see who's searching.
No, you can search. No, Google Trends will show you volume. Yes.
Yeah.
But it will not show you location. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe, you know, sometimes data's funny like that. Well, I won't. We don't have time to go through that. But some messages. Chubbs is a farm and says Minnesota has Ruby's Pantry. We distribute every month. 22 people serving full laundry baskets of food for 6 full hours. Food banks aren't, quote, full, bro. I didn't say all of them. I said that one is. I also went on to say maybe in the big cities it's different, which it probably is. I know if you're in Minnesota, you're probably feeding a fuckload of Somalis every week with my tax dollars. But yeah, to be clear, not every food bank is full, but food banks around me are. And there are plenty of people below the poverty line here. The Chow
You
just
see, Erica Kirk's going to be doing Fox News with Jesse Waters.
No, when tonight?
November 5th.
Oh,
Next week.
That was just announced just now.
Interesting. I wonder if she'll share any updates. Probably not. She can't. You know, that's the thing. Like,
well, the people part of the investigation are given a gag order.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, if I was the state, I would too. Like, you have to. I don't understand.
Trying to get a conviction in court. I guess,
yeah, like that's what a lot of people are saying. Like, Candace is working for the defense because she's like putting on all this reasonable doubt shit for Tyler. KO Dude says, "Greetings, Mr. Hamby. Your coffee changed my life. I would travel a quarter planet just to taste it. You're a coffee king in numerous occasions. I appreciate you. Our gingerbread's in stock right now, by the way." And Primetime Ray says, "Jeremy, I live right next to you in Iowa. Shout out Iowa." 50715 says, "Everyone is more focused on the bloodthirsty Dems. No offense, but the court case doesn't matter compared to a civil war. People I see focus on the murder are at minimum 25% foreigners." Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bigger story that you have foreigners who can't read driving 80,000-pound killing machines. I think that was in response to like why people haven't covered it. People have moved on. You know, the Antifa stuff is still pretty hot right now. They got BTFO'd in Portland. Only Gone says, only log on. I don't know. Sorry. Hannah Claire, you can do so much better working on your own than dealing with us. Oh, okay.
Am I getting kicked out by the chat? I'm so sad.
No, it was a troll super chat that they're gonna retract because they get off on. They're like, go on. I'm gonna mention this show that is afraid to have Jeremy on and try to get me to read it, which I fell for it again. And so I guess that'll be on there. Bystander Syndrome says, by the way, again, I tweeted out, I'm happy to go on their show and at any moment, but you coming in here and trolling, like, you make them look bad. So, you know, anytime they want to have me on, I'm happy to go on. So if you want to try and like be like, well, how come Jeremy won't go on? Bro, I said I would go on anytime, any place. Happy to. Unwoke Gamer says, I wonder how many red spots on EBT. Oh, I got that one. Kumon. Oh, come on at some, I think. I think it's that's what it is. You'd be surprised to know how many illegals are in Appalachia and food stamps. I'm in Eastern Tennessee, and the influx of foreigners is ridiculous. Well, that's because the Biden administration was just airdropping them into the Midwest.
Flying them at night. It's crazy. Yeah.
Why the fuck are there 20,000 in Springfield, Ohio, or whatever? You know, they're trying to turn these red states blue. Like that's the long-term plan. Recon Tech is how you say it. Oh, remember, first thing to happen in any basic society when taking away entitlements, not rights, is a spike in crime. Be prepared. That's true. PJ Schrader said, there's a boutique olive oil store in Brookfield I've been wanting to check out. That's the one I go to. It's called like Olo or something like that. I can't really read it, but
a foreign word for oil, maybe.
I think they're a chain. Like, I think they're a chain, but like you go in there and there's a lot to choose from, and it's fucking expensive. But like, how much olive oil are you using? You know, like, kind of lasts a long time. Siren says, would have been great if they ended the video with a dude getting hit by a train while taking a selfie. I'm not sure which one that is, but JJ from Iowa says, as a nearly 30-year trucker, I can confirm that video. Yeah, the California video. Yeah. I'm here to recommend Stephen King's Rose Red miniseries on Disney Plus for Halloween season watching. Really? I don't watch anything from Stephen King because he's a fucktard. But you know, if it's good, I might give it a try. Why is it on Disney though? Our son says, does the training boyfriend have an alibi for the shooting? I don't think that the boyfriend did the shooting. I think the boyfriend convinced Tyler to do it. That's what I think. I don't think the boyfriend was capable of it. Tyler had a hunting history. He was proficient with guns. He was an outdoorsman. You know, he was I think he radicalized him. All right. Let the people know where they can find your content.
You can find my content on YouTube and Rumble. It's Hannah Claire B in both places. I'm also Hannah Claire B on X if you want to follow me there. I'll be back tomorrow for Astrocast, which is a delightful time, and I hope you guys all join us. Luke, where can they find you?
Thank you, Big H. Really appreciate that and all the work that you do. Always a lovely time joining you here on this program. YouTube.com/We Are Change. I just did a video about the UFOs, 30i Atlas stuff is pretty interesting. I'm going to do another kind of deep dive into this Charlie video. I know, Jeremy, you posted a video of the guy like celebrating Charlie's death by doing the costume thing. That was wild, man.
Yeah,
that is just absolutely infuriating and
someone said we just missed a court hearing live on Sky News.
Yeah, I
Charlie
sent
Kirk's assassin.
I sent it to you in the private chat. It was procedural hearing, so it was nothing major.
Okay,
but I sent it to you when I got the notification for it. So I'm going to do a separate video on that. YouTube.com/We Are Change. And always a pleasure to be joined here with you guys. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back in 22 hours. You guys will go say hi to Viva, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye all.
Bye.